Assalamu alaikum, dear students. The current session focuses on British and Irish English. I hope by the end of the session you would have an idea of what is the nature of Irish English and how it is similar or different from the British English. I hope that you would understand that the geography and the history of the Irish nation had a strong impact on the language, the English language that they have. Ireland is actually the second largest island of British Isles, the third largest in Europe and the 12th largest actually on Earth. So, it is a part of the United Kingdom. Politically, Ireland is divided between the Republic of Ireland, which covers 5/6 of the island. Out of the 6 parts, 5 parts are under the Republic of Ireland. And then 1/6 is called North Ireland, which is a part of the United Kingdom. Well, I would just take a minute here to explain to you, the geographical and the socio-political and historical conditions. I would just give you the example of Kashmir. The geography and the history of Kashmir, if you look at that, some part of Kashmir as, independent part is separate and some part is associated with Pakistan. So, the sovereign part that has its own sovereignty and the part that is associated, they are distinguishable. In the same way, after the War of Independence in, Ireland, some part got independence, some part was still, connected with, it was under the rule of the UK. In fact, if we go further back into the history, we would realize the earliest evidence of human presence far back, in the history, in 10,500 BC. We find Gaelic people there. Gaelic Ireland had emerged in the 1st century, and this is from where we can trace, the progression that took place. The island was Christianized, in the 5th century, and following the Norman invasion in the 12th century, England claimed sovereignty over it. So this was the time when the rule of, England was established over it. English rule did not extend over the whole island until 16th and the 17th centuries, however. And actually, it was towards the early 20th century that a war of independence was fought, which led towards the partition that I have just now talked about. As far as Irish English is concerned, we can trace it back to 1169. The first texts that we find as an evidence are from somewhere 1250. However, the situation of language use was not very simple in Ireland. There were 3 languages in competition: English, French, and Irish. So it was a multilingual area. Loss of French language appears to have enhanced the status of Irish. When 3 languages are living together, they are surviving together. If one language gradually goes down, it loses its space, it fades away. Naturally, that space is occupied by the other languages that are coexisting. So, French was fading away. Irish language was taking its place, was gaining, more space in the national, in the geographical setup. When we compare Irish and English, Irish had a greater spread during the, the times until the 17th century. Many of the present features of Irish English appear in Wexford dialects. These are the records that we get. In early modern Irish, therefore, I would give the example of the use of after, the word after as a perfective mark. For example, I'm after missing the bus. Now you would find it very strange. This is really strange for you. I am after missing the bus, which actually means I have missed the bus. Irish dialects are typically more conservative than those on the mainlands. As far as syntax is concerned, Irish dialects make rather more use of do periphrasis, this do, than it is used elsewhere. Notice this example that is taken from, Irish literature. They does be lonesome by night, the priests does surely. Notice these choices. We do not find these choices very frequent in the standard that was developed in London. Loss of French enhanced, both the Irish language as well as, the English language overall. Moving towards the pronunciation of Irish language, I would say Irish dialect stories tell us the use of certain pronunciations and certain spellings. For example, for T, the pronunciation and the spelling. The spelling that would be used were te. For deceive, the spelling were deceive. For fine, foin. For produce, produce. Notice the difference. For fist, spellings are fist because it would also be pronounced like that. And butter with this h, butter. And true would be pronounced like true. This sound, coincides with this one. Butter and true. And many, many more examples like that. The influence of the Irish prepositional system upon Hiberno English can be seen in the use of with instead of for. The preposition with, it was used instead of the preposition for. Notice this example. He is dead now with many a year. He did not come back with 28 years. Actually, what the author means or the speaker means is, he is dead now for many years, or he has not come back for many years. So overall, Irish English has its distinct features, though it has certain similarities with the English that was used in England, that was the standard of London. However, it had its own peculiar features.